Good morning everyone, welcome to Tarun IS. Today we are going to discuss editorial news of 28 September 2022. The first article of today is the groundwater level in India. The article has been taken from The Hindu, and this particular article is important from the perspective of your General Studies paper 2, General Studies paper 3 and General Studies paper 4. Now let us discuss that how it is important with respect to these papers. The General Studies paper 2, the government policies and intervention. In GS paper 3, we have environmental conservation because the issue is of groundwater level, and the third is from the perspective of the GS 4, that is ethical use of water. Now let us talk about the news. Union Minister of Rural Development and Ministry of Panchayati Raj, they together have launched this app called Jaldoot app and Jaldoot app e-brochure. Now, according to the news, there will be selected 2-3 wells in a village that will be monitored and assessed for the groundwater level pre-monsoon water level and post-monsoon water level. Pre-monsoon water level will be tested from 1st May to 31st May, and post-monsoon water level will be tested from 1st October to 31st October. Now, why it is important for us to monitor the groundwater level? Because of several reasons. The first reason is that India has 4% of the global fresh water, and it has approximately 16% of the global population, right? So in order to cater to the needs of this approximately 16% population, we do require the monitoring and assessment of freshwater resources, right? Another important point is, the second point is considering the agrarian economy that India has. We know that more than 50% of the population is into agriculture sector, and agriculture sector, according to a report by Central Groundwater Board, it extracts 89% of the groundwater. That means 89% of the groundwater is extracted by the agriculture sector, 9% is utilized for the domestic purpose, and 2% is utilized for the industrial use. Such is the level of the extraction of groundwater. Now, why the groundwater is becoming important? The point is that it's not the utilization of the groundwater, but it is the excessive utilization of the groundwater that poses the problem. Due to the reason that the extraction of the groundwater, it excesses the replenishment level of the groundwater. Therefore, it is important for India to monitor and assess its groundwater level. And also, there are few facts that you should keep in mind. The first is the report by Niti Aayog, which talks about that 40% of people in India face water scarcity. That means 40% of the people in India will face water scarcity. This is a report by Niti Aayog by 2030, right? Second point is the fact which is the data which is collected by the Central Groundwater Board, that 70% of the wells have registered rise in water level, which is very good, but 30% of the wells have registered decline, and mostly in the range of 0.2 to meter. The third point which becomes important is the uncertainty. The third point is the uncertainty of the monsoon. We witness sometimes there is excessive flood, sometimes we witness flash droughts and droughts in regions like Maharashtra and other regions of India. Therefore, in order to assess the level of groundwater, Jaldoot app becomes important, right? So you can use these facts in your mains examination as well as in your pre-examination. I mean, this question can be asked in pre-examination, like consider these facts about Jaldoot app, which ministry has launched. UPSC in previous year questions, if you go through, UPSC has asked the ministry, so you do keep in mind the ministry which has launched this app. Now let us move on to the next news of the day. Okay, the next news of the day is about the employment survey. This news has been taken from The Hindu and the employment survey by Labour Ministry. The survey is known as the quarterly employment survey. See, now what are the findings of this survey? The findings of the survey is that the manufacturing sector employs 38.5% of the workers, which is the largest among all other sectors in the fourth round. That is January to March 2022. Now the data which was collected between these months, it says that 38.5% of the workers are employed in the manufacturing sector, right? Manufacturing sector. Now, what is important about knowing that manufacturing sector is the largest employer? The reason is, the first is the growth, the economic growth of the country. India is an emerging nation, we all know that. The second point is the demography of the country. If you remember, then in the past few months, a report was released by UNFPA, United Nations Population Fund. It has talked about that how India is going to become the largest populous country in the world in the year 2023. That is the next year, right? So considering the demographic dividend that India has, we need to understand the nature of the economic establishment in India and how the growth is progressing in the country and which sector is employing largest workers in the country. Therefore, any country which grows needs to have a robust manufacturing sector, right? So therefore, this data becomes important. Now let us consider a very important fact, that is the agriculture fact. Now agriculture is not becoming a profitable business these days. What is the reason behind it? You can say it is associated with the climate change. So because of the climate change, agriculture sector faces lot of problem. Sometimes there is a crop loss. Sometimes there is a crop loss. Therefore, India needs to have a robust manufacturing sector, and therefore this survey points towards that India needs to work towards making its manufacturing sector even more strong. In light of the Skill India mission, and the Make in India mission, along with Atmanirbhar Bharat, we need to focus on our manufacturing sector. Now let us move on to another fact which is given in this survey, that how education, manufacturing, trade and financial service together account for 84% of the estimated units. That is the economic establishment, the economic units which are employing these workers. And manufacturing sector account for the largest percentage, which we have already discussed. Let's move on to the next fact. It talks about the women participation. It talks about the women participation, that it has witnessed a marginal increase. Even a marginal increase in the women participation in the economy of the country is very important. It is highly imperative for a nation to have equality, gender equality, and rising participation of women boost the socio-economy of the country. Try to link it this way, the socio-economy of the country. So this fact of marginal increase in women participation has a lot of consequences. It has a lot of positive spillover effects. Now let us move on to our next news of the day is the Indo-Nepal relations. The news has been taken from the Hindu. As you can see, the news has been taken from the Hindu. You can relate this news with your General Studies paper 2, International Relation, India and its Neighborhood Relations. Now recently, we know that the Investment Board of Nepal has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Hydropower Electric Corporation Limited to develop the West Seti project, right? Which is going to be a 1200 megawatt project, right? Now, why this is important for India and as well as for Nepal? We'll discuss the hurdles later on, but first we will talk about the significance of this project for India. The first significance, as you can see on the board, is the Hydropower Corporation. Now, why Hydropower Corporation with Nepal is important? The first point is the coal shortage that India faces. You know that India imports coal. India does not have a very good quality coal reserves, therefore we import it from outside. Therefore, the coal shortages, reducing the import bill, and India's commitment towards the climate change. Remember, Glasgow Summit, and Prime Minister Modi vouched for the Panchamrit, the 5 commitment that India has made towards the climate change, towards elevating, towards moderating the climate change effect. Therefore, the Hydropower Corporation with Nepal becomes important, right? This also is important to boost the existing power projects like Mahakali Treaty, the Upper Karnali project, which is a 900 megawatt project, the Arun 3 project, and third, very important, that it has a geopolitical influence. We know that China has influenced Nepal's not only the politics but also the economy. Therefore, in order to reduce the China's influence in Nepal, we have to strengthen our ties. And Hydropower Corporation with Nepal is one of a very significant step in this direction, right? Now, what is the benefit that Nepal is going to draw from this treaty? Nepal is expected to generate revenue of 310 billion by 2030. And it also has a potential to if this project is fully harnessed, then Nepal is going to generate this much of the revenue. So it will boost the economy of Nepal, a win-win situation for both the countries. This I have already discussed, that how India faces the coal shortage for its thermal plant and the commitment towards the renewable source of energy by 2030. Now let us talk about, we have already discussed the significance. Now we will talk about the hurdles in the project, that what are the hurdles that the project is going to face. This is a brief history of the project, that how first it was given to the Australian company. The second, China's company acquired a major stake in the project, and then how Nepal itself revoked the license of the West Seti hydropower company. Why Nepal did this? The reason lies in the fact that India has a policy of not buying hydroelectric power from a project commenced and initiated by China. Therefore, it was not a profitable business for China. So then India's policy is very important. What is India's policy in this regard? That it does not buy hydroelectric power from a project which is commenced by China. Right. So hurdles we have discussed. We have had a brief discussion about the project. You can read it from here, that the project was first given to Australia, and then how the China's company acquired a major stake in it, and then how in 2011 the Nepal revoked the license of the corporation, and then how India has acquired the license to complete the project. Right. Now, what are the other steps that can be taken in this regard? The first thing is the study. Studies and assessment, they becomes very important when we want to complete a project. So what are the investment scenarios? What will be the effect on the environment? So all these things will be taken care of in the study. So we have to study properly the distribution and the transmission network. Everything has to be carefully studied so as to increase the efficiency and the effectiveness of the corporation as well as the project. Addressing Nepal's concern. What are Nepal's concern? Of course, the tariff. You see, Nepal does not receive free electricity. It does not completely receive free electricity. That some percentage of the hydropower electricity which is generated by the project is given to Nepal free of cost, some percentage. So addressing the Nepal's concern with respect to tariff and with respect to the percentage share can help India and Nepal's cooperation in a long run. And there is one more thing, that the similar project can also be extended to other countries, other neighbor countries. What are those two other neighbor countries? I would say Bhutan and Bangladesh. Bhutan and Bangladesh. Right? Bhutan and Bangladesh. These two countries can also participate in such cooperations. Now let us move on to the last editorial. I have taken this editorial from Science and Technology. You can relate it with the General Studies paper 3, Science and Technology, the scientific development and its application. Now, what is the news? Recently, the DART mission by NASA's DART mission. What is DART mission? The Double Asteroid Redirection Test. What is this asteroid redirection test? We will talk about it. Now, according to NASA, an asteroid called Dimorphos, asteroid called Dimorphos was threatening, to Earth. If it collides with Earth, it will lead to catastrophic events. It will lead to catastrophic damage. So in order to prevent any damage, NASA's DART mission tried to redirect it. How this redirection take place? There is a method called kick method. Now, this is what mission is all about, that a dimorphous asteroid is there. A dimorphous asteroid is there which is to be redirected by using a tiny Goliath, right? Now what happens? This is an asteroid, and this is this tiny dart, and if it collides with the asteroid, now this is dimorphous asteroid, you can imagine in this way, this is dimorphous asteroid, and if this dart, it collides with it at a breakneck point. Now I have written it somewhere. At a breakneck speed of 23,700 km per hour. If this tiny object collides with this bigger asteroid at this speed, which is called as the breakneck speed, it is adequate to redirect it. How it will redirect it? It will change its angular momentum. We must have studied this in physics. It will change its angular momentum, right? So this change in angular momentum will redirect its direction from here to somewhere, some other way, you know, so as to prevent it collision with the Earth. Say, let's suppose this is, you know, Earth. All right. So the mission is all about this. Now, how the mission is going to work, that I have already discussed by a method called kick method, that how it is going to collide with the asteroid at a breakneck speed, and how this kinetic impact that it will generate, it is going to redirect it and save Earth from a potential cataclysmic event, right? And why this mission is important? Because in future also, if there is any such event that an asteroid is about to collide with Earth, so we can use this kick method or other method that NASA and other space agency are going to develop. Also, the news becomes important because it is going to open horizons in space mining. You must have heard about the rare earth metals. Now, rare earth metals, the mining of this metal, it is very costly, and also it may cause environmental damage, right? It is costly, it may cause environmental damage. So in order to prevent environmental damage, the space mining will provide a cost-effective solution in decades to come. For decades, you know, for decades it is going to. Let's talk about what are rare earth metal. There are total 17 rare earth metal, that is lanthanoids. If you guys look at the periodic table, lanthanoids, all 15 lanthanoids, wait, I'll write it here, rare earth metal. These are total 17 in number, which is 15 plus 2. Okay? These 15 are lanthanoids, and these 2 are Scandinavian and scandium, and yttrium. Okay? Scandium and yttrium. So 2 rare earth metals, scandium and yttrium, and 15 all lanthanoids. You can go and check periodic table, you will find lanthanoids in heavy metals. So these are rare earth metals. So why there is a need for such technology? You see, 66 million years ago, an asteroid, it collided with Earth and it engulfed the whole population of dinosaurs which roamed around Earth during the Jurassic period. You all must have watched this movie called Jurassic Park. So this Jurassic is nothing, it is a geological time scale. This Jurassic period was a period for dinosaurs, right? So during this Jurassic era, an asteroid collided with Earth and it caused tsunami, volcanic eruptions and thick cloud which decimated the dinosaurs and 75% of all species. So in order to prevent such cataclysmic events in future, it is important for Earth, the humanity, to work out on such technology. So that's it for today, students. We'll see you in the next class. Have a nice day.